$400 billion.
Wow.
That's not just a number. It's a whole new level of wealth.
Yeah.
And someone just hit it for the first time ever.
Right.
Elon Musk.
Crazy.
We're diving into articles from the Indian Express and Wikipedia today to try and understand how this happened.
Yeah, it's a fascinating case study. Really not just about the events, but what they reveal about the forces shaping our world right now.
Exactly. So we're not just recounting events. We're trying to understand the why behind this astronomical figure.
Right.
What factors contributed?
Yeah.
What does it tell us about the current trends?
I think one of the most recent catalysts is this SpaceX deal that the Indian Express highlighted. SpaceX bought back shares. And that boosted their valuation to a staggering $350 billion.
Wow.
That alone accounts for a big chunk
Okay.
of Musk's recent jump in net worth.
Okay, so a company buying back its own shares. What does that really mean for someone like me who doesn't follow the stock market that closely?
So think of it this way. SpaceX isn't publicly traded.
Okay.
So its value is determined by what investors are willing to pay for a piece of it.
Okay.
This buyback signals that investors are extremely confident in SpaceX's future.
Wow.
They're essentially saying, we believe this company is going to be worth even more down the line.
Okay.
And that confidence directly translates into Musk's personal wealth.
Right.
Since he's a major shareholder.
I see. So it's not just about the money changing hands right now. It's about the future potential everyone sees in SpaceX.
Precisely. And this confidence is fueled by some truly groundbreaking innovations.
Okay.
SpaceX is at the forefront of reusable rocket technology, which is dramatically reducing the cost of space travel.
Right.
They're also talking about ambitious missions to Mars.
Wow.
And even the possibility of establishing a self-sustaining city on the Red Planet.
It's like science fiction.
Yeah. These bold visions capture the imagination of investors and contribute to those sky-high valuations.
That's where it gets really interesting to me. It's like, this isn't just about making money. It's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Yes, there's a definite element of that.
Right.
Musk has often spoken about his desire to make humanity a multiplanetary species to ensure our survival in the face of potential threats on Earth.
Wow.
He sees space exploration as a crucial step towards achieving that goal.
So it's like a blend of business-savvy technological innovation and a almost philosophical vision for the future of humanity?
You could say that, and that combination seems to be particularly potent right now.
Okay.
The Indian Express also notes that Musk's wealth surge coincides with a broader trend, a post-election boom, so to speak.
Right. Both articles point to a correlation with Donald Trump winning the 2024 election.
Exactly. And this underscores how political shifts can have a major impact on markets and individual companies. Certain industries might be favored, regulations might change, and investor sentiment can shift dramatically based on who's in power.
Right.
In this case, it seems some investors see a Trump presidency as creating a favorable environment for businesses like SpaceX, Tesla, and xAI.
Speaking of Tesla, both sources mentioned their stock hitting record highs since the election.
Yeah.
CNN, as quoted by the Indian Express, reports Tesla stock is up a whopping 65% since Election Day.
It's a significant jump, for sure, and it reflects a few key factors.
Okay.
First, there's a growing demand for electric vehicles globally.
Right.
As consumers become more environmentally conscious and the technology improves.
Okay.
Second, Tesla has built a strong brand and a reputation for innovation, which attracts both customers and investors.
Right.
And third, government policies play a role.
Okay.
Some governments are offering incentives for electric vehicle adoption.
Right.
And this can create a tailwind for companies like Tesla.
So Tesla's success is like a convergence of technological advancement, consumer demand, and political support. It's not just one thing. It's all of these factors working together.
Exactly. And we see a similar dynamic with xAI,
Okay.
Musk's artificial intelligence venture.
Right.
The Wall Street Journal, as mentioned in the Indian Express, reports that xAI's value doubled to $50 billion after a recent funding round.
Wow, a $50 billion valuation for a company that's still relatively new. What's driving that kind of excitement?
Well, artificial intelligence is one of the hottest fields right now, with investors pouring billions into companies that are developing cutting-edge AI technologies.
Right.
Musk has hinted that xAI is focusing on creating safe and beneficial AI,
Okay.
which addresses some of the ethical concerns surrounding the potential risks of artificial intelligence.
Right.
And this approach seems to be resonating with investors.
So XAI is riding the AI wave, but with an added layer of aiming to do it responsibly, which is what's attracting all that investor attention.
Exactly. It's a compelling combination, especially in a field that's often seen as both promising and potentially dangerous.
Okay, we've got SpaceX, Tesla, and XAI all experiencing significant growth. It's easy to get lost in the details of these individual companies, but Wikipedia actually provides a really useful big picture perspective.
Yeah.
They have a timeline of Musk's wealth showing his journey from a mere $2 billion in 2012 to the astronomical figure he's at today.
It's an incredible trajectory.
Yeah.
And it highlights how the sources of his wealth have shifted over time. From his early success with PayPal to Tesla's dominance in electric vehicles, SpaceX's revolutionizing of space travel, and now XAI's potential to disrupt the world of artificial intelligence. Each venture has added another layer to this incredibly complex financial empire.
And I was struck by something else in Wikipedia.
Right.
It mentions Musk surpassing other tech giants along the way.
Yeah.
First he overtook Zuckerberg, then Gates. And he even briefly held the title of the world's richest person back in 2021.
Yes, those are key milestones. They demonstrate the rapid concentration of wealth in the tech industry and how quickly fortunes can rise and fall in this volatile landscape.
Okay, so we're starting to see a clearer picture of how Musk got to $400 billion.
Yeah.
It's a combination of shrewd business decisions, technological innovation, a favorable political climate, and some might even say a bit of luck.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the money, is it?
Right.
There are broader implications here. Ethical considerations that we need to grapple with.
You're right. This level of wealth concentrated in the hands of one person raises some important questions about inequality, power, and the role of billionaires in shaping our future.
Exactly. And those are the questions we'll be exploring in more depth as we continue our deep dive.
I'm ready to keep going. There's still so much to unpack.
Yeah, it really is unprecedented.
Yeah.
$400 billion in the hands of one person.
Right.
It's more than the GDP of many countries.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and it raises questions about the distribution of wealth and power in our society.
Yeah, it's almost hard to wrap your head around, like, what could someone even do with that much money?
Well, you could fund major global initiatives.
Yeah.
Imagine the impact on healthcare education.
Climate change.
Or climate change mitigation. The sheer scale of it is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But before we dive into the broader societal implications, there's one more piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
We need to look at Musk's compensation.
Okay.
Both sources mention a controversy surrounding his record-breaking Tesla pay package.
Right. Initially valued at $101 billion, now a staggering $120 billion.
Wow.
Based on current stock prices, and Wikipedia notes that a Delaware court actually rejected it.
Yeah, that ruling was significant.
Wow.
It highlights the complex legal and ethical considerations surrounding such massive executive compensation packages.
Yeah.
The package was tied to ambitious performance goals for Tesla.
Right.
But some shareholder groups argued it was excessive and that Musk, as CEO and a majority shareholder, had too much influence over the board's decision.
So it was like a conflict of interest, kind of?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
The court agreed, ruling that the compensation plan wasn't entirely fair to shareholders.
Yeah.
They didn't completely invalidate it.
Right.
But they sent it back for further review.
Okay.
It's still in a legal limbo.
So they're still figuring that out.
Yeah. But the ruling set a precedent, raising questions about how we value CEOs.
Yeah.
And the potential for wealth inequality to be further exacerbated by these kinds of deals.
That's something I hadn't really considered before. It's not just about Musk's personal wealth. It's about how these compensation structures shape the whole system.
Right. It connects to a broader debate about income inequality and whether current systems are set up in a way that benefits everyone fairly.
Yeah, for sure. Now, on a somewhat lighter note, both sources also touch on Musk's philanthropy. Wikipedia, in particular, gives an overview of his charitable giving. Including a $100 million donation to a STEM-focused school.
This was the school that Musk himself founded, right?
Right.
Yeah. Ad Astra.
Ad Astra.
Is known for its unconventional approach to learning.
Okay.
They emphasize critical thinking, problem solving, and hands-on experimentation over traditional classroom methods.
Right.
It reflects Musk's interest in education and his belief in nurturing future innovators.
Okay, so he's putting some of his wealth back into educational initiatives. But Wikipedia also mentions that he's donated to political organizations that seem, well, a bit contradictory.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's contributed to organizations supporting both Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis.
Huh.
On the surface, it might seem at odds.
Yeah.
With his support for a STEM-focused school.
Right.
And some of his other ventures.
It definitely raises questions about his overall political leanings.
Right.
Like, what are we to make of that?
It's difficult to say definitively what motivates these donations.
Okay.
Some might interpret it as a strategic approach.
Okay.
Aiming to maintain influence, regardless of who's in power.
Okay.
Others might see it as a reflection of his personal beliefs. Right. Ultimately, it highlights the complex role billionaires play in the political landscape.
Right.
Their wealth gives them a disproportionate voice.
Right.
And their choices about where to direct their political contributions can significantly impact elections and policy decisions.
It's a lot to think about. I mean, we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
Musk's entrepreneurial journey, the factors driving his wealth, the controversies, the philanthropy, and the potential political influence. I have to admit, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed.
It is a lot to take in, but I think it's important to step back and consider the broader context.
Okay.
Musk's story is a microcosm of the larger forces at play in our world right now.
What do you mean? Okay, so we've talked about Elon Musk's incredible journey to $400 billion, the companies he's built, the complex ethical questions his wealth and influence raise.
We've seen how his story reflects these larger trends. The rise of these tech giants, the growing influence of billionaires, and the potential for both progress and disruption that comes with this rapid technological advancement.
Right, and I think for me, the big question is, what does this all mean for the future? Like, is this the kind of world we want to live in?
Yeah.
One where a handful of individuals have such immense power and wealth?
It's a question we all need to gravel with, I think.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of innovation, the allure of technological progress, but we also have to be mindful of the potential consequences.
Like, what if those technological advancements primarily benefit the wealthy elite while everyone else is left behind?
Exactly. We have to ask ourselves, who is shaping the future and who is benefiting from it? If we're not careful, we could end up in a world of deepening inequality where technology serves to amplify existing power structures rather than create a more just and equitable society.
Like a science fiction dystopia come to life. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and technology becomes a tool of control rather than liberation.
It's a real concern, but I don't think it's inevitable.
Okay.
We still have a choice. We can choose to shape the future in a way that benefits everyone, not just a select few.
So what can we do? How do we prevent that dystopian future from becoming reality?
Well, for starters, we need to be having these conversations.
Yeah.
We need to be critically examining the implications of technological advancements.
Okay.
And thinking about how we can ensure that they are used in a way that promotes social good.
So it's not about rejecting technology altogether. It's about being thoughtful and intentional about how we develop and implement it.
Exactly. We need to be asking questions like, who controls the data?
Right.
Who benefits from the algorithms? Who has access to these new technologies? And how can we ensure that everyone has a voice in shaping the future?
It sounds like we need a more democratic approach to technology.
Yeah.
One that empowers communities and prioritizes the needs of the many over the profits of the few.
Yeah, I think that's a key insight and requires us to rethink our current economic and political systems. We need policies that promote economic fairness, that invest in education and job training, and that ensure that everyone has access to the resources they need to thrive in a rapidly changing world.
So it's not just about tinkering with the technology itself, it's about addressing the underlying social and economic structures that create inequality in the first place.
Precisely, and it's about recognizing that technology is not neutral.
Right.
It's a tool that can be used for good or for ill. The choices we make today will determine how it shapes our future.
It's a lot to think about, but it's also empowering to realize that we have agency. We can choose to be passive consumers of technology, or we can be active participants in shaping its development and use.
That's right. And it starts with awareness by educating ourselves about these issues, engaging in thoughtful discussions, and holding our leaders accountable.
Yeah.
We can create a future that is more just equitable and sustainable for everyone.
Well said. I think that's a great takeaway for our listeners. Elon Musk's $400 billion is a symbol of both the incredible potential and the potential pitfalls of our technological age.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that the future is not predetermined. It's something we create together through our choices and our actions.
That's a powerful message to end on. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.